Hi there, my name is Henry Tenby. I'm the creator of the JetFlix TV all aviation streaming service. Check it out at www.jetflix.tv. In this video, I personally am going to take you along for a visit to Canada's last ever Hawker Siddeley 748 operation. The airline in question was Air Quebec. And we're going to go and visit their operation and the people that make the operation work at their main base in Timmins, Ontario. Then we fly up for a few-day visit to Moose and Moosonee. They call it Moose. We're going up to Moose, and we visit the operation up in Moose as well. Look, let me say, if you happen to have an old collection of Kodachrome, aircraft slides just like this is actually an Air Canada Viscount taken in Vancouver. I collect these slides and use these slides in YouTube presentations. So if you have a collection of old Kodachrome slides collecting dust, I'd be interested in acquiring it or purchasing it. Don't hesitate to contact me at the email address provided below. Anyhow, let's get on with the show. Strap in. We're going to have a very, very fun visit to the Air Quebec Hawker Siddeley 748 operation.
Okay.
This was when we thought we had two rooms.
Okay. So that's part of the tomorrow's then, right?
Well, yeah, most of it will be taken off, but yeah.
Well, I thought there's only two.
Okay, there.
Yeah, I'm still too shy though.
You're missing stickers.
I'm still too shy.
It's good.
This is going together.
It kind of looks messy right now, but what they're actually doing is getting a load together for our freighter tomorrow, which will be the 748, along with some of our passenger skids. So that's why at this time they're just bringing stuff around, weighing stuff, stickering it. So we have all the accurate weights for the airplane. So
And I'm thinking the small pieces are over here, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
3 pounds, 4 pounds, and 5 pounds.
Yeah, but these aren't done yet, Carl.
Okay.
I think they're more towards the filters there.
I got the key in my pocket, so nobody's using it. Nice big leak, eh? Here, LIY is big door that we got converted about, how long has it been now, Steph?
2.5 years ago.
2.5, almost 3 years. We definitely need that big door for what we do.
Yes.
Without the big door, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't move, so.
Well, stuff like that would not fit on a small
stuff
door.
like this, for example, like that there, too high, or some stuff is just too big to fit through the door, right?
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised what they can fit in here anyways. I mean, I've seen them put, 20-foot pipes that weigh approximately...
They were about 1,000 pounds a piece.
1,000 pounds a piece, and they managed to swing them in there, right? But that's called good forklift drivers. These guys are awesome on the four-wheeler, on the forklift.
Too many of them left.
But I got a couple that can drive that forklift like there's no tomorrow, and they can, if it'll fit through that door, we will do our best to get it on, you know, as much as possible. So basically, yeah, this one here is the large door, non-pressurized. Obviously, it flies a bit lower and it costs a bit more operating costs. We also have another one, which is a small door, which has got a 4-foot door in the front, kind of like this one. Well, actually, same thing, but the back's got a smaller door. And that one there is pressurized, so it can go higher, which means it'll burn less fuel, which means operating costs go down on that one. Most of the stuff that goes on that airplane is all hand bomb. PJR, not the big door, the smaller door. It's all hand bomb, so it involves a lot more work. They take the skids apart and they box by box by box by box. That's basically what happens, just like the good old days. That still happens. So I've been here 21 years and that's still happening. So the guys really work hard sometimes for their money, right?
Sometimes.
This one here is the easy one. We have a roller floor in there. Okay?
That's our baby.
So we put a piece like this that weighs 1,000 pounds, for example, and they bring it into the airplane. We put on, we call it a cookie sheet. It's kind of like a Lexan sheet that it drops on the pallet.
Yeah.
And then we just roll it up the airplane on rollers.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, very nice.
It's easier on your back, eh, Steph?
Oh yeah, it's much easier.
Especially since she's getting a bit older.
Yeah,
So
with age doesn't help.
But yeah, this one is a very nice airplane to load. Did a lot of work for us, lots. This airplane, we do work for a mining operation up north, a diamond mine, and that's a big part of
the bulk of this
our
airplane
operation, the bulk of it, and not to mention northern stores that supply all the communities up north with food, right? So we do approximately 6 loads a day, not a day, sorry, 6 loads a week out of Cochrane for the communities of Fort Albany, Saskatchewan, and Attawapiskat. So that keeps us going as well, not to mention different charters. Like we're open for any type of charter. If we can fit it through the door, we'll do our best to get her on here.
So what's the mine that just opened 3 years ago that wore out the airplane behind us?
That would be De Beers Victor.
That's Victor Mine.
They did a number on it.
They did they didn't really do a number on it, but I mean, we flew lots.
Yeah.
At its peak, it was almost a logistics nightmare out of here. That front yard, the backyard here at the warehouse was just full of cargo, and it just never ended. It would just move cargo, plan to load, move cargo, plan to load. So it was fairly busy at that time. Now we're not as busy, but we're still busy from a cargo aspect and a passenger aspect with this mine. We fly all the workers into the mine, in and out, and we have like daily skids for the mine. That's why I said it's a big chunk of our
7 per week
business.
almost.
Yeah.
How far is the mine from here?
It's about an hour and 15, an hour and 20
Flight.
flighting.
And is there a road?
No road access.
There's winter road, but like I said, that operates very minimal, where they can actually haul in transports with the bigger stuff on. But it does run a bit longer with smaller loads, right? Pickup trucks and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so basically we have 7 compartments on this aircraft. Most of them are about 7 feet long, and they can hold about 3490 complete. That's maximum for floor limitations. Basically, the smaller one in the front is only good for 1,320 pounds, and the 2 smaller ones in the back are the same as the front one, good for 1,320 pounds. Basically, these red lines you see is where we would put a barrier net to avoid the load shift if we have heavy pieces.
And to be up to Transport Canada standards and
Yeah.
safe and all that stuff.
So they're 9G points wherever there's a red line?
That's right.
Yeah, basically.
For maintenance costs, it's probably higher than a Dash 8. The inspections are every 2 years or 1,500 hours compared to a Dash 8 at 5,000 hours. So they're in the shop a lot more often, but repair-wise, it's pretty simple. There's a structural repair manual with all the repairs to do on the aircraft versus a Dash 8 where you have to apply every time for a specific repair to Bombardier. So in that respect, it's much easier to maintain. No composites compared to the Dash 8 for delamination. It's a tough aircraft. For gravel, it's great, high up off the ground. Propellers are good in the gravel strips. No real damage to them. They're really tough.
Same with the underside of the aircraft?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It takes a little bit of beating, but nowhere near a Dash 8 would on the gravel strips. For engines, they're getting scarce. There's only a couple shops left that overhaul the engines. We send ours to New Zealand for overhauls.
Is it actually cheaper to do that than to just buy other airframes with engines and pull the engines, or?
Yeah, it's probably cheaper to buy complete aircraft, but then there's the logistics of getting them here and cutting them apart. We've done that on a few occasions to just purchase an entire aircraft and part it out. It's a lot more cost effective, but in the other case of buying a whole aircraft, it's a lot of work to travel basically around the world trying to find these and that are in decent condition to bring them back home.
What is the overhaul limit on the Dart?
5,800 hours or 15 years. So also you'll find aircrafts that have been sitting for a while, so there's a 15-year calendar life on the engines that keeps on ticking even though the aircraft is parked. So,
how much does it cost to overhaul a Dart?
Overhaul an engine now is about 400,000, in that price range right now.
And what about the props?
Propellers, we get them done here in Canada, and props actually are there's lots of parts still available, and we've got quite a collection of them from over the years, parting out aircraft.
So running the aircraft unpressurized, does that result in savings, or does it make things easier for you?
Unpressurized, well, it changes the schedule on the maintenance program. Some areas it increases the inspection intervals, and in other areas it actually reduces them. On the wings, all the inspections are reduced. Airframe on the fuselage are actually increased because it's not pressurized. It doesn't get the stress of the pressurizing, unpressurizing. But they say on the wings that they reduce the inspections because the aircraft are flying lower now in rougher air, so there's more stress on the wings and whatnot.
Is there a wing spar limitation on the 748?
No, there's no wing spar limitations or nothing. It's just strictly inspections and keep inspecting. These aircraft that we have here are from West Air Sweden. I purchased them over there, and they're all low-time airframes. So a lot of the inspections, which they call structural inspection, the SIDS on these machines they start, like as the aircraft progresses, the more and more inspections come due, and these ones are still babies, so there's some SIDS that are coming due on them, but a lot of them aren't in place yet. So it helps out on the maintenance cost.
So how long, I mean, conceivably these aircraft could still be working a decade or from today?
Oh yes, the biggest part right now is getting parts for the aircraft. They're getting scarcer and scarcer. But there's still parts out there. Just sometimes you got to make sure you have good stock and be prepared. Like for engines, we have two flying 748s. We have 4 spare engines on the floor just to keep us going, because overhaul turn times you're looking at 6 months, 8 months. So if you don't have an engine, it's not like you can just send it out and get one tomorrow. And one other issue for the 748 that's good is the landing gear. They're a very tough gear compared to the Dash 8. Dash 8 have a lot of corrosion issues with them. And the cost of a 748 gear, you can buy them for about $30,000. And a Dash 8, you're over $100,000 for a gear if you can find a decent gear right now.
That's $30,000 per gear, so $90,000.
$90,000 versus, like, for replace a whole Dash 8 set of gears, you'd be looking at probably $500,000 to replace the gear on a Dash 8.
What about the tires? How do they stand up with the punishment they get on the gravel strips?
They're very good, actually. No big issues. We keep an eye on them daily. We do daily inspections to make sure that there's no cuts and rocks stuck in the thread of the tire, but it's a tough airplane. For our takeoffs here up the coast, we use quite a bit of water methanol. The pilots have their charts that they, depending on payloads and temperatures, they either use or not use the water meth, but they're always pretty well using it year-round, depending on conditions.
Is there a cost element to that?
Just the cost of bringing it in from outside and inspecting it and testing all the systems and just making sure the water meth is good.
And what that actually gives a boost to performance on takeoff.
It's more of a recovery, they call it, system to help recover the lost power. Without water methanol, the engines will produce about 1,900 horsepower each, and with the water meth, you're looking at just shy of 2,100 horsepower per engine with the water meth injection.
Yeah, it's kind of unique on the 748, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. There's not too many other aircraft. I think the Metro uses it as well, and except for that, I'm not too familiar with any other aircraft that fly around here that use the water methanol. 2 sister ship aircraft we are flying now. They're both from, I picked them up West Air Sweden in Sweden, and from what I've been told, they are the 2 lowest time 748s flying around. We've got one when we purchased it at 10,000 hours. The other one was at 13,000 hours. And previously to that, they used to be a German field calibration aircraft, basically just flying around, shooting approaches at airports, calibrate approach systems. So that's why they are low time aircraft. On the door, we sent the aircraft down to Sault Ste. Marie at Springer Aerospace, and they took about 6 months to install the door. But to depressurize the aircraft, install different heating systems. And with the large door, cost-wise, it was probably about $400,000 to have the door installed.
So it flies on very short runways. I'm talking 4,000 foot runways. Can accommodate this airplane. So it's an awesome airplane for cargo operation up north.
Okay, what we're doing this morning, we're just in the process of flying jet fuel up to community of Attawapaskat. That's the town where we have a jet tank located at the airport. There's no road access to Attawapaskat. Our flights go up and back to Attawapaskat, and we refuel them up there. So we have to supply the jet fuel that they need. So in this aircraft now, we have 8 tanks, 8 bulk tanks. We're putting in approximately 6,000 liters this morning and flying it up to Attawapaskat, where it will be offloaded into the tank in Attawapaskat.
So how much does the fuel weigh?
This load is approximately 11,000 pounds.
It's a full load for the hawker.
It's a pretty full load. Fumes are all directed through these lines here.
Yes.
Fumes, as the fuel comes in the bottom and loads up, the fuel-laden air is forced into these lines, and then they are vented out through the back of the aircraft and outside. What we're doing this morning, we're just preparing this 748 for departure. It's leaving at 8:30 this morning. Typical day consists of planning starting at about 6 o'clock, where we get all the weather information from up the west coast of James Bay, get all the NOTAMs, all the weather information package put together, get the aircraft prepared for service, and then as we discussed earlier, we've put a load of jet fuel on this morning, and that we will be flying that jet fuel up to Attawapaskat this morning. The aircraft is now loaded with the fuel, should be ready to go in a few minutes.
How long? And the flight is how long up there?
About 45 minutes.
And then the offload takes?
About another half hour.
Okay, then they're direct back here at Tenby.
And then direct back here. Total round trip should be about 2 hours from the time they leave to the time they get back, give or take a few minutes.
Hi there, my name is Henry Tenby, and I'd like to tell you about my brand new book. It's called From Lodestars to Jets, and it's the most image-heavy, comprehensive, it's the most extensive history on Air Canada, Trans-Canada Airlines that has ever been published in the annals of aviation history. The book is absolutely loaded with images that many of which have never been seen before. Let's have a look at the pages, and then you can decide if this book deserves a spot on your bookshelf. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of the book. Isn't that gorgeous? It is printed on 105 GSM paper, so it's super high quality paper. It is absolutely loaded with images. As I say, there are approximately 600 images, just under 300 pages. Many of these images have never been seen before. And the stories that are within these pages, many of them have long been forgotten, and it is information that is absolutely fascinating relating to engineering and fleet planning and fleet development issues at Trans-Canada Airlines. Look at that Viscount wing structure design, feathering system. We've got a section on the Bristol Freighter, some face changes around TCA engineering, and then sections on the Connie. Models make moolah, of course, for you aircraft model fans. Whole sections on the Connie North Star. There we go. Engineering Department, 1950. Fabulous shot taken at, where's this? Cartierville. Absolutely gorgeous. And this will take you back to the good old days of Trans-Canada Airlines. As I say, I believe this is the most comprehensive history on Trans-Canada, Avro jetliner, that's right. Trans-Canada Airlines was instrumental in the development of this aircraft. Of course, up to the jet age, the introduction of service to the DC-8s, and other airplanes that were considered by TCA at the time. This is not the same old Air Canada history that we've seen many times over the decades. This is all brand new information, brand new stories. I've posted a link in the upper right-hand corner of this video that'll take you to the book information and order page. Also, I should point out that time is of the essence. Limited production on these books. Once they're sold out, they're probably sold out forever. And I hope you will enjoy the book as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Thank you very much.
located in Moosonee, Ontario. We're just at the foot of James Bay here, located where the Moosonee River meets James Bay. To give you some kind of context, Timmins is located approximately here, Sudbury's down here, Toronto a bit further south. There are three primarily Aboriginal communities located up and down the James Bay coast that we service in a freight capacity. There's the town of Fort Albany, the town of Saskatchewan, and a little further north is the town of Attawapiskat. Those are the three communities that we primarily service. From here in Moosonee, everything that goes to those communities flies through here. There's no road access into Moosonee. The freight arrives into Moosonee via rail. The Polar Bear Express comes in, the freight train comes in Tuesdays and Fridays with the product that goes north. Our primary customer is the Northwest Company, which operates the northern stores in these communities. And everything that they sell, and everything that's would be in your local department store, canned goods, furniture, groceries, couches, mattresses, beds, anything that you would find in a normal grocery store flies from here. It comes to us on the rail, and then we fly it north to the three communities. There are other communities north. Peawanik and Winisk is located on the tip of Hudson's Bay, at the bottom of Hudson's Bay, sorry. And second, we have two main bases of operation, Timmins and Moosonee. We also service the De Beers Victor Mine, although that is serviced primarily from Timmins, but some freight does fly from here as well. The 748 operation typically operates 4 to 5 days of the week. Monday through Thursday primarily are the heavy days. Backup or overflow is completed on Fridays if necessary. Because there's only rail access to Moosonee, all perishable goods, your milk, your eggs, your produce, flown from the town of Cochrane directly to the towns of Attawapiskat, Fort Albany, and Saskatchewan. Those operate on Mondays and Thursdays. The freight comes direct from suppliers in Ontario, Quebec, right to where they're consolidated in Cochrane and then flown direct. That helps the product be a lot more fresh when it hits the stores. So what we deal primarily is canned goods, non-perishable groceries, stuff like that, and all of the retail products that fly up. The train arrives here. It'll be arriving here this afternoon. It's a Tuesday. It'll be arriving here this afternoon. Primarily around 1 o'clock, we'll see the freight by 1:30, 2 o'clock. We'll offload the trailers, and we'll start flying it this afternoon. The train normally arrives around 12:30, but depending on how heavy it is, it has different equipment. It's not just freight for us. There's other contractors, there's other suppliers, whatever. So our flight timing this afternoon is completely dependent on what time the freight arrives with us. So it arrives on piggybacks. Just the trailer is dropped on the train, comes up, it's picked up here and delivered to us.
Jobs to go to when you walk out the door, but it's better.
Part of being a straight up program is being honest. And I'm telling you right now, I got nothing. I need a job. I wouldn't mind.
No, we build more there. That's the solution. You don't just got trades.
Throughout most of this meeting, Andre has sat still as a stone, but he's attentive. He's listening to each one.
Okay, we're just at the loading docks now. This is where the rail car comes into Moosonee. The trucks are just being what's called spotted. They're just getting ready for transport. The boys are bringing up the legs, and then they'll be driving these trucks, the trailers, down to the airport where we will be offloading them and flying the freight.
Okay, so what we've just done is we've taken out the vent lines. The main lines have been disconnected. The bolts have been taken out. The straps have been disconnected from the tanks, the holding straps. And we're going to get ready to take out the main hoses that are running on the floor connected to the tanks. We're going to haul them out the door and start moving the tanks back out so we can switch back over to freight configuration.
How long does that process take to get all this stuff out of here?
About 25 minutes if everything goes well, and it'll take us another half hour to 45 minutes to get everything back in with freight and props turning again.
We've got everything's kind of running the gamut. We've got a fair bit of retail products, just general merchandise, stuff like clothing, anything you'd find in a retail store. We had 3 or 4 skids of that. The rest of the trip is comprised primarily of groceries. We've got everything from Pampers to bread, toilet paper, meat, pop, canned goods, just about anything that you can think of that you're going to pick up in the grocery store. About 11:30. This aircraft arrived back from its fuel haul at about 10:15. We've taken the fuel system out, which includes the tanks, the manifolds, the vent lines. What we've done is reinstall the system for groceries, including the rollers that go on the floor and all the netting system that goes in. And we're currently just loading a full load for the community Saskatchewan. Total weight on this trip is about 12,500 pounds. And total turnaround time, we should have it done in about an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes. Should be airborne from the time we got it down on the ground.
we have to weigh stuff up if it's not already weighed, process everything so it's all logged, make out weigh bills, and then everything goes to the plane. And with this aircraft, everything has to be hand bombed, right? So every little box has to be touched by hand in order to be put into the plane, and we usually end up loading anywhere between 10,000 and 11,500 pounds.
you've enjoyed this part 1 of the Hawker Siddeley 748 operation in Canada video, part 2 is also about 45 minutes long. I'm going to put the link to that video in the upper right-hand corner right now. However, you do need to be a premium subscriber to my channel. This is special content. Hope you'll consider joining and becoming a premium subscriber to the JetFlix channel here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I definitely look forward to your comments and appreciate a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much.